So, today was all about history, all about the 25th annual NXT TAKEOVER 25. Now, I was expecting a lot, and they delivered. Really good wrestling. Johnny Gargano proved again that he's always going to be always short to the bigger picture. Because just like his North American Championship, he lost it in his first title defense since winning it. It was supposed to be a big event because last time we saw Johnny Gargano hold a single championship, it was the North American Championship, and guess who he beat for it? Back at TakeOver Cleveland, he defeated Ricochet, the North American champion. Then ended up losing the next NXT episode against the Velveteen Dream that currently holds it still to this day. And now, after defeating Adam Cole at a 2 out of 3 falls match at TakeOver New York, he lost it in his first title defense on TakeOver. So Johnny TakeOver strikes again. I think it's a curse. As much as he has longevity on NXT, I don't know if they're going to push him to the main roster before SummerSlam, or they're going to make it like a back and forth thing like they did Samoa Joe and Finn Balor a few years back. I mean, it happened before. There's been hot potatoing of the NXT Championship before. That made like an annual, like a prestigious thing turn into like how the current championships are right now. But let's go over the majority of the show. First, we open off with a match opener that was Roderick Strong opening the show against Matt Riddle. And Matt Riddle, over his last TakeOver event, had maybe my favorite match against Velveteen Dream for the NXT North American Championship. He had a good match. Knee strikes. Then one move that involved a ricochet of elbows side to side while cornering up in the mid side of the rope, involving Matt Riddle. It ended off some kind of suplex for Matt Riddle to get the win. Oh yeah, it was some kind of tombstone driver thing. I mean tombstone slam because his arm and mainly his midsection was done. So they even explained it. Morrow kind of explained it quite beautifully over his core strength. Can't get him to do the the submission abdominal stretch while he's continuously elbowing his opponent for submission hold. It's MMA-esque. This was a decent way to open the show. I liked it. It's a decent match, but somebody like Roderick Strong I expected to be like bigger, like midway in the show, like Matt Riddle. We're just seeing Matt Riddle thanks like he's been one of the mainstays. He also had the undefeated streak. You expected him to be in the middle of the show, but it was a good match opener. Really good match opener. Next up was something I did not like. It was just a format of the show. The format, the card was just, in my opinion, it was just mixed about it just too much. Because I understand they had like a big show to do. Shawn Michaels and Road Dogg were at the event. Beth Phoenix was in commentary. She added in so much, but she sounded so much like Renee Young. It felt the fucking same. Next up was an 8-man ladder match. An 8-man tag ladder match for the NXT Tag Team Champions next to War Raiders, or the Viking Experience, or the Viking Raiders. Relinquished their championships after getting called up by WWE by the main roster. But thanks to the wild card, it really doesn't matter where they're going to go. So they don't care, so I'm calling it the main roster. For the Tag Team Championships involving the Street Profits, Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, Oni Loken, or if you've seen him before, I think you've seen him before, he had some cool one-on-one matches that are like filler matches on the NXT with Danny Butch, and the Forgotten Sons that recently lost they're in the finals that won the Cruiserweight Classic. No, I don't think they won the Dusty Rhodes Classic. Whatever, this was a pretty entertaining match. This was a really entertaining match. Of course, a second ladder match in a row I've seen since the Money in the Bank, so pretty much distinguished with ladder matches over the past several months. The last, 2 months now. Currently, I think this is better than the Money in the Bank ladder match. Had better spots. Nobody was trying to overdo it except Kyle O'Reilly's. entertaining selling. I think he was an MVP. He just took more sells, consistent strikes that they did on Oni and Loken. Oni and Birch. Like Birch and Oni were there, but they were only there for a few slams, while like the Street Profits just came around and kept getting butched around until like Jackson Riker came and just beat the shit out of everyone, just to make sure that like nobody gets near the ladders at all, and they start beating the shit out of everybody until like there was like a Top Gun Holo. I forgot what his name is. Not D'Angelo Dawkins. The other black guy took a Top Gun Halo. He only hit Riker's leg and freaking nearly hurt himself. He nearly hurt himself. There's a nice leapfrog. D'Angelo Dawkins took a suplex on the ladder. Then Kyle O'Reilly got assaulted by Jackson Riker. Then he was finally taken down off getting hit with the ladder by all 6 of the competitors. Lycan was like the last guy there, trying to reach up to the ladder until I forgot what the dude's name is, man. I don't mind the Street Profits. He leapfrogged into the ladder, beat him up until he can finally reach the NXT Tag Title. So the Undisputed Era lost twice, not only in the match opener, but in the second match of the card. The only person left is Adam Cole. Forgotten Sons don't have that much character, but I think they'll be in a feud with the Street Profits. Thanks to they're like one of the other only distinguished tag teams in the NXT. Next to the Undisputed Era. But that was an entertaining match. The Street Profits are now your new tag team champions, so that's your first title change after where Raiders relinquished their titles. Next up, the Velveteen Dream versus Tyler Breeze in the main event. I think this was like match of the night. Because like I'm about to give you my opinion on the main event. Because it was a good main event, but it was like they were trying to do like false finishes to like just hype you up more. Because it's always the hype factor. They don't want to add weapons or any crap on it. So Velveteen had a pretty good match. Velveteen Dream did a freaking lion salt. Jericho's move. Did an elbow drop, super kick off the chair. He even taunted Tyler Breeze using his phone, trying to videotape himself while holding the title while Tyler Breeze was like freaking knocked out after the super kick. Then I'm trying to, Tyler Breeze is like, they keep selling it like this is going to be like his only shot to redeem himself after like losing relevance on the main roster. So I understand that like most of the time he's like being super desperate, trying to drag Velveteen Dream out in the ring after like hitting him with a spinning heel kick. Then the finisher of the match was involving him trying to grab Velveteen Dream trying to grab the title, while Tyler Breeze snicks it off. So that gives Velveteen more time to hit him with a little fireman's carry, and then the elbow drop for the finish. It was a pretty entertaining match. Mimicry of moves. It was like, what would you expect of cocky individuals? Not that much show of respect for like 2 showstoppers. Unlike what happened with Matt Riddle. They kept getting more excelling because Matt Riddle's more impressive in the ring than Tyler Breeze. This was a really good match. Next up was involving Owen Shirai versus Shayna Baszler. This was alright. A bitch came with candlestick. I think that's like Johnny Gargano's wife. Came and assaulted Baszler's little entourage that she comes around with, but barely even appeared until later half of Shirai coming in, hitting the moonsault, attempting the moonsault, and then like she kept acting stupid the entire match. Like, how can only one person trying to back you up? The only thing you can do is root for them, unless you try and actually end up trying to stop Baszler and hit her with the moonsault while she's taking care of the bitches trying to sabotage your match. Then just making sure like she gets more awareness isn't targeting the arm, isn't trying to stomp on the arm, not trying to stomp on the hands, just making sure she doesn't get disarmed. Until, like, we know what's going to happen every Shayna Baszler match, so not much is difference here. Baszler's just going to get more of the offensive in. Just a lot of stiff moves. This was like the stiffest match on the card because, of course, Oi Shirai is a Japanese wrestler. So you'll be seeing her do a lot of nasty forearms, a lot of more nasty kicks. Brutal Hurricane Arana. This was a pretty good match. I think this was like one of the quieter matches. It was good. It wasn't that good as people expected it to be. They were expecting a lot more because, like, of course, like because Candice LeRae came, Kendo Stick, interrupted the match while like Adam Cole had to win the championship on his own, when he couldn't even beat Gargano in a 2 out of 3 falls match involving the fucking Undisputed Era, so that was completely pointless. Baszler won off getting the Kikina clutch in for so long that Shirai can't even muster herself to even grab the ropes. It's been in so long, it's like, oh, she's just gonna break out of it like she has been. And there was a lot of ingenious ways how to get out of that hold, and for Shirai to make sure that she knows how to escape. So it was like they knew each other's moves. And plus, she's seen this happen to even Kairi Sane, so she's aware of how it is. So the storytelling is, I know what you can do. So I'm just going to find these ways so I can have more of the advantage than Shayna Baszler just comes in and just snaps her shit. So it ends off via tap out. Shayna Baszler still NXT Women's Champion. This was a good match, but not the best in the card, sadly. Next up was the main event involving Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano. Now, this is my conspiracy on why Johnny Gargano lost. Not because he was overconfident in the match. No, because he had the fucking wrestling gear based on Captain Marvel. And everybody knows how much of a shit whore the original actor and how shit of a character current Captain Marvel is. That's why Gargano lost. It was a bunch of false finishes, super kicks, suicide dives, running senton off the apron. It's literally their fucking 2 out of 3 falls match, except it's just one fall now. It was alright. Just continued just mimicking finishers. Adam Cole couldn't even use the little suplex into a neck breaker. So all he could do right now is just use the Shining Wizard. I don't know what's the thing with just revealing his kneecap, and he kept selling it, so he couldn't do a lot of. He couldn't use his suplex. He couldn't hold on to his finisher that often. He couldn't do a lot of flips up top. So it was decent selling, more consistent selling than Seth Rollins with his leg. I'm just saying. From being all the sellers of legs, there's Rey Mysterio that sometimes can sell his leg while notoriously having a lot of notable knee injuries over his career. And you're telling me Seth Rollins that suffered an ACL tear 2015, then another knee injury, and you're telling me from all those years of experience, nobody told you can be a better actor selling your fucking leg thanks you had the experience of literally injuring that multiple times? Holy vey, this is why sometimes I'm angry about these little indie wrestlers. And this was a good match. Don't get me wrong, but there was way too many false finishes. These guys were super desperate to try to make sure, ooh, who you think's gonna win? Ooh, who you think's gonna win? It's the same thing with the Aleister Black and Tommaso Ciampa match. It was a lot of dynamic moves and it was violent, but anything else, there's nothing wrong with getting a few weapons in it. There's nothing wrong with that. At least Oni Shirai picked up a steel chair and knew that if she can't beat her, she can at least deal some damage. And hit her with a moonsault involving a steel chair. That was cool. Did Johnny Gargano snap after like 16 takeovers? You couldn't even have a reign lasting at least one takeover where you regain your championship? How come Gargano does not snap at all? This was a pathetic showing. But just to know, like, Johnny Gargano is supposed to be the Jeff Hardy of NXT. And it ended off a Shining Wizard in the back of the head. He took a frickin' sunset flip into a power bomb and hits it right on the frickin' outside. And I thought that was the coolest move. Super kick to the back of the head, then a Shining Wizard. It was a really brutal setting until Adam Cole finally hits him with the other Panama Slam and then a Shining Wizard to the back of the head to finally win the match. So Roderick Strong couldn't beat Riddle. O'Reilly and Fish can't get back their tag team championships. But Adam Cole is new NXT champion. This was a good match, but I was like, you're overdoing it. Same thing with like how like even indie shows are guilty of this. They want to add too much into something that could be serviceable enough for a decent like 20 minutes. You don't have to make a match that long. This match was like 30 minutes, and it was full of false finishes every freaking time off the Shining Wizards, off the super kicks, a knee to the head. Is that submission gonna make it? It's this abundance of doing moves and not enough selling to tell the freaking story of how much Gargano climbed this peak and how he's not even desperate to hold on to the NXT Championship for one title defense. I like the show, but there's a lot that could have been way better. They could have made the show iconic and be the reason why this is an alternative to watching Raw or SmackDown or 205 Live. I'm telling you, I didn't speak more negatives than I did positives in this entire review. And I have full-on support for WWE and NXT. That's how I felt about the show. The show gets an 8 out of 10. It's a good show. It was great wrestling. Had good fan base. It had good fan reaction. Nothing was overstaying its welcome. The commentary was decent. I just think, like, fuck, bro. Do we really need 4-man commentary? If it was just Nigel McGuinness and Mauro Ranallo, that good enough. You already have, like, good intelligent, good history. You have Nigel McGuinness that's intelligent and has the experience to tell you how these moves are going to work. You have Mauro that already has a great passion for the sport, a great passion for the wrestling craft, and knows most of the wrestling moves and can tell you the originality and show you his distinct reaction. He's like a freaking nerdier Joey Styles, except more like current day. And I would love Joey Styles back on commentary, but I don't think it would work for NXT like it does Mauro now. This Beth Phoenix just felt like still like Renee Young to me. She's like she's trying to suck her own dick and she doesn't have her own personality. And I don't even know what the fuck that nigga's doing on the commentary table. Other than that, this was a really good takeover. I don't think it's better like Takeover Brooklyn or Takeover Dallas or from any of the other takeovers I've seen over the past couple of years, even like freaking War Game takeovers. It's not better than that. This was a good takeover, but from all the things, it was way better. But this was a great takeover. Adam Cole was a shocker win. I love the ladder match. The ladder match was one of the matches of the night. Shocker upset loss off Io Shirai from Shayna Baszler was a really good finish. It was deceptive. It was crazy. It was scary. We thought Io Shirai would have got out of the submission. Tyler Breeze and Velveteen Dream match was great. And we had a good match opener with Roderick Strong and Matt Riddle. This show was good. It was serviceable. Well timed. I'm just glad that I didn't watch 4 hours of a fucking pay-per-view. You know how much that does to me? I already get pissed off enough already watching, like, main roster stuff. I'm just glad I got to watch a reasonable amount of time, wrestlers that I can simply get, understand, and see how they're going to be in the ring. And even if they do overdone matches, at least they're wrestling matches and we know these characters. Thanks for watching. This was a good review. Like, share, and subscribe. I even got an Instagram, the Lionheart 3005, if you want to actually see like my stupid meme page, but it's more if you want to get more into conversation wrestling personally with me. Thanks for watching.